Welcome to the new book releases for the week of December the 4th. There are so many that I want to read on this list, but TBRs being what they are, who knows when I will get to them? Who knows? If there's anything that I don't mention though, and is coming out this week and you think other people would like to know, leave it in the comments down below. And we will be starting with fantasy. After the disclaimer, I will mispronounce things. I know this. If you've been here before, you know this. But if you're new here, I'm going to mispronounce things. Real names, fake names. They're just not going to come out right. And I'm sorry, but we have to move on with that. Our first fantasy is one that has been self-published before, but has been picked up by Tor to get a reprinting in a more traditional sense. This is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. It is the first in the Crowns of Nyaxia. I'm pretty sure it's just the duology, though there is a short story in there too, from what I've heard. For humans and vampires, the rules of survival are the same. Never trust, never yield, and always, always guard your heart. The adopted human daughter of the Nightborn Vampire King, Aurea craved a place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kajaria, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. But winning won't be easy. Amongst the most vicious warriors from all three vampire houses, to survive, Aurea is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. But there's no room for compassion in the Kajaria. War for the House of Night brews, shattering everything that Aurea thought she knew about her home. Our next one, I really thought it'd come out before, but maybe I just saw it when I was making my anticipated releases, or I saw other people talking about it. It's A River of Golden Bones, though, by A.K. Mulford. This is the first in her Golden Court series. Twins Kala and Briar have spent their entire lives hiding from the powerful sorcerers who destroyed their kingdom, and from the humans who don't know that they are wolves. Each twin has their own purpose in life. Briar's is to marry the prince of an ally pack and save the Golden Court. Kala's purpose is to remain a secret, her twin Shadow, the backup plan. No one knows who Kala truly is except for her childhood friend and the sister's betrothed, the distractingly handsome Prince Grey. But when Kala and Briar journey out of hiding for Briar's wedding, all of their well-made plans go awry. The next one is the sequel, The Bitter Crown by Justin Lee Anderson. This is the second in the Edian saga, which saga always makes me think we're going to get like several books, and that's cool. The first book was The Lost War. The war is over, but peace can be hell. In a society that fears and shuns him, Aronach is the first mage to be named King's Envoy. His latest task is to restore an exiled foreign queen to her throne. The band of allies he assembles each have their own unique skills, but they are strangers to one another, and at every step across this ravaged land, a new threat emerges. Lies are revealed, and distrust could destroy everything they are working for. Somehow, Aronach must bring his companions together and uncover the conspiracy that threatens the kingdom before war returns in the realms again. Second one, it says a war once held in the shadows now escalates into full-scale revolution in the second novel of his epic saga. Our next one is the conclusion to a trilogy that I mentioned last month that I do know it was self-published, and now Orbit has put out all three of this trilogy. It is Severus Corax Gets Away with Murder by K.J. Parker. This is the conclusion to the Corax trilogy, and obviously Severus, I'm saying his name wrong, I know I am. He's just, he's someone in the battlefield salvage business, and so he doesn't mind death or blood. And in this one, apparently he is preparing for retirement. This one is one that has previously been released in the UK, but now it is being published here in the US. And this is The Second Sight of Zachary Cloudesley by Sean Lusk. It's in 1975, Abel Cloudesley, a London watchmaker and creator of remarkable mechanical automata, is mourning his wife Alice, who died giving birth to their son Zachary. 6 years later, Abel is further devastated when a freak workshop accident takes Zachary's eye. With his new eye made of gold and lapis by Abel's soft-spoken apprentice Tom, Zachary, now with an astonishing gift of second sight, is sent to live with his eccentric Aunt Franny in the country. Abel buries himself in work until he is coerced by shadowy figures into designing a chess-playing automaton and delivering it to Constantinople to spy on the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. After meeting the Sultan, Abel is not heard from again. Years later, teenage Zachary receives a letter suggesting his father is still alive, a prisoner of the Sultan. Zachary sets off on a perilous journey into Levant, determined to find Abel and bring him safely home. So it sounds like it might be sweet and sad. Sounds like a lot of sad, though. Now we move into sci-fi with another sequel that has gone the self-published route, but in traditional publishing now with its Beautiful new cover. Griever's Blood by Alexander Darwin is coming out, and it is the second in the Combat Codes series trilogy. In a world long ago ravaged by war, the nations have sworn an armistice never to use weapons of mass destruction again. Instead, highly skilled warriors known as Griever Knights represent their nation's interests in brutal hand-to-hand combat. In a world where single combat determines the fate of nations, the Griever fight in circles so that the rest can remain at peace. But given the stakes, things are never so simple. The Diamo govern from the shadows and plot to gain an edge by unnaturally enhancing their Griever Knights. Up next is one that sounds quirky, interesting, and just different. It says it's for readers who enjoy 2001: A Space Odyssey, Artemis, and Moonfall. This is The Oxygen Farmer by Colin Holmes. Sabotage, murder, cover-ups, just another day on the moon. After 35 years of living on the moon, cranky old oxygen farmer Millennium Harrison has stumbled onto a hidden facility in the shadows of the Slayton Ridge exclusion zone with a radiation leak and a deadly secret. Mill's discovery leads to the death of a young astronaut, sabotage, murder, and cover-ups that may go all the way to the chief administrator of the space agency. Unfortunately, she happens to be Mill's estranged daughter, busy trying to secure her own legacy, the first international mission to Mars. Moving along into YA, we have a sequel that I've been really looking forward to. Well, conclusion. It is the end of the last Fenestra duology, This Cursed Light by Emily Thede. It started with This Vicious Grace. 3 weddings, 3 funerals. Alyssa's gift from the gods is supposed to magnify a partner's magic, not kill every suitor she touches. Now, with only weeks left until a hungry swarm of demons devours everything on her island home, Alyssa is running out of time to find a partner and stop the invasion. When a powerful priest convinces the faithful that killing Alyssa is the island's only hope, her own soldiers try to assassinate her, so she is forced to hire a bodyguard. And Book 2 will look at how to save the world, because when gods make the rules, the players must choose sacrifice their love to save the world or choose love and let it burn. Next up, we have the conclusion to The Beautiful Quartet by Renee Ahdieh. This one is called The Ruin. The series started out in 1872. New Orleans is a city ruled by the dead. But to 17-year-old Celine Rousseau, New Orleans is a safe haven after she's forced to flee her life as a dressmaker in Paris. Taken in by the Sisters of the Ursuline Convent, Celine is quickly enraptured by the vibrant city, becoming embroiled in the glitzy underworld known as Le Cour des Lions after catching the eye of the group's enigmatic leader, Sebastian Saint Germain. When the body of one of the girls from the convent is found in Sebastian's own lair, the second dead girl to turn up in recent weeks, Celine must battle her attraction to Sebastian and suspicions about his guilt, along with the shame of her own horrible secret. While this last one is labeled as YA, I think it's only because of possibly the character's age, because the description and the whimsy sounding of it really makes me think it might be more middle grade feeling. This is Down the Well by Veronica King. I think it's going to be in a series because in parts of its description sometimes it's labeled as Adventures in Thimbleton. Laura Dearden wants to be happy when she grows up, but navigating her parents' mercurial moods, moving to a new town just 2 weeks before her high school graduation, and dealing with her beloved grandma's declining health all make that dream seemingly impossible. Will her new job be the first step towards happiness, or will it be another disappointment? When she falls down a well into a magical world with talking animals that haven't seen a human for years, she must clear her name of the mayor's murder. Although how anyone believes she killed a Herculean-sized alligator is beyond her. Now, her survival is tied to a mouse with a chip on her shoulder. There's also a cat who owns a pub where the animal patrons might be cannibals, a giant snake librarian who possibly wants to eat her, and sentient lampposts who are never where you need them. So see, it gives vibes. I don't know about that one. We will have to find out from reviews where it really lands. Moving on into the romance genre, this next one, it sounds super adorable, but I cannot get over this cover. Why is she in a ball gown and he is in jeans and like a hoodie jacket? That's going to be Technically Yours by Denise Williams. Pearl Harris has learned the hard way to be careful in work and in love. She has a chance to make lasting change at Our Code, a nonprofit aimed at inspiring high schoolers to code. But a recent scandal puts its reputation at risk. Further complicating things, Pearl didn't expect the one man she never stopped thinking about to join as the newest member of the board of directors. Cord Matthews fell for Pearl when they met in an elevator 8 years ago. She's just his type, smart, capable, and makes him laugh. But when she broke his heart, he decided love wasn't for him. When they reconnect after years of no contact, Cord is tempted to consider breaking his ban on serious relationships. But going public with a romance between them might derail Pearl's career and the progress she's made at Our Code. And this next one does sound a bit familiar in its storyline, but it takes a different direction at least, so we'll give it that. It's This Spells Love by Kate Robb. What if one little wish changed everything? When Gemma gets dumped by her long-term boyfriend, she reacts as any responsible 28-year-old would by getting drunk with her sister, kooky aunt, and best friend Dax. After one too many margaritas, they decide to perform a love cleansing spell, which promises to erase Gemma's ex from her memory. They follow all the instructions, including a platonic kiss from Dax, to seal the deal. When Gemma wakes up, she realizes that this silly spell has worked. Not only does it seem that she never dated her ex, but the rest of her life is completely unrecognizable. The worst part, Dax has no idea who she is. Our one fiction of the week is The Wildest Son by Asha Limi. When tragedy forces Delphine Albert, an aspiring writer on the cusp of adulthood, from her home in post-war Paris, she seizes the opportunity to embark on a journey she's long dreamed of, finding the father she's never known. But her quest, spanning from Paris to New York's Harlem to Havana and Key West, is complicated by the fact that she believes him to be the famed luminary Ernest Hemingway, a man just as elusive as he is iconic. She desperately yearns for his approval, both as a daughter and a writer, convinced that he holds the key to who she's truly meant to be. But what will happen if she is wrong, or if her real story falls outside the legend of her parentage that she's revered all her life? Then we have a gothic mystery for you, The Curse of Penrith Hall by Jess Armstrong. After the Great War, American heiress Ruby Vaughn makes a life for herself running a rare bookstore alongside her octogenarian employer and housemate in Exeter. She's always avoided dwelling on the past, even before the war, but it always has a way of finding her. When Ruby is forced to deliver a box of books to a folk healer living deep in the Cornish countryside, she is brought back to the one place she swore she'd never return. A more sensible soul would have delivered the package and left without rehashing old wounds, but no one has ever accused Ruby of being sensible. Thus begins her visit to Penrith Hall. A foreboding fortress, Penrith Hall is home to Ruby's once dearest friend, Tamsin, and her husband, Sir Edward Chinworth. It's an unsettling place, and after a more unsettling evening, Ruby is eager to depart. But her plans change when Penworth's bells ring for the first time in 30 years. Edward is dead. He met a gruesome end in the orchard, and with his death brings whispers of a returned curse. Ruby doesn't believe in curses or pillars, but this is Cornwall, and to these villagers, the curse is anything but lore, and they believe it will soon claim its next victim, Tamsin. To protect her friend, Ruby must work alongside the Peller to find out what really happened in the orchard that night. Our final genre of the week is going to be thrillers, with the first one up being one that I don't have much to talk about, mostly because I could not figure out which one was really the first one in this series and how many there even are. This is going to be Manner of Death by Robin Cook. These series of books, though, follow Dr. Jack Stapleton and his wife, Chief Medical Examiner Lori Montgomery, and in this one, they are dealing with a medical serial killer. And our final book is going to be Here in the Dark by Alexis Soluski. Vivian Perry likes the dark. A former actress, she now works as a junior theater critic at a major Manhattan magazine. Her nights are spent behind the lights in a reserved seat, giving herself over to the shows she loves. By day, she savages them with words sharper than a knife. Angling for promotion, she reluctantly agrees to an interview, a conversation that reveals secrets she thought she had long since buried. Then the interviewer disappears and she learns from his devastated fiancé that she was the last person to see him alive. When the police refuse to investigate, Vivian does what she promised herself she would never do again. Assuming the role of an amateur detective, she turns her critical gaze toward an unsanitary private eye, a sketchy internet startup, and a threatening financier, fake blood, and one very real corpse. That's it for this week's list. If there's any books that you think people would like to know about coming out that I didn't mention, make sure you leave it in the comments down below. And if this was your first time here, I hope you enjoyed it. Well, go check out some of my other videos and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you're finding something awesome to read today, and I'll see y'all in the next one.